And they didn't answer. So I think somewhere in there. So fucking they heard screams and didn't call. Fucking they heard screams and didn't call. Fucking they heard screams and didn't call. And one of them says that she saw a guy in a black mask. With a black mask on in the house.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go. Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What's going on, Hive? Great to see everybody. I hope everybody had an awesome weekend. I got a giant stream lined up for you all this evening. And I got to say, there is a certain type of person. I think a lot of us probably have this trait. But when you're really into something and you're really interested and you really want to find out the truth, you can spend hours looking at the same video, reading the same documents, staring at the same photos. And even though you're not necessarily 100% sure about your theory, you keep coming back. You keep coming back and you get a little bit closer to the truth each and every time. I had a conversation with Mark B over the weekend. And Mark B, no doubt in my mind, has put in more hours of work investigating the Linda Lane dumpster cam, the Linda Lane car park, 1112, and every other camera you can imagine when it comes to the Idaho 4 case. He was blowing my mind about things that he saw. A quote that he actually said to me was, "I'm sitting on a gold mine of information that I don't even know how important it is." He's got charts on the reflections of the windows on 1112. And he's got like clusters, like that must be this car. And look at the taillights on that car. And we're going to be talking about the Uber driver, Eric Gower, this evening, among some other things. And as you're filing in, if this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live weeknights at 7 p.m. Central. Welcome to the Hive Mind. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. We think past the headlines. We question the narratives. We got the best chat on YouTube. There's no doubt about it. The Hive is the best live chat on the internet. I'm convinced. I got the best mods, being formerly known as Beck, Discord, Dawn, Luna Bliss, and the UFO Dog. And we have the best people that tune in every single night that speak their mind. So go ahead, say whatever you want in the chat, as long as you're not trolling or spamming or threatening. Say whatever you want. You can dish it out. We can dish it back, but we need to have a discussion. We need to get past an initial disagreement. And I think we have done an epic job at doing so thus far. Let's keep that momentum going. Please go ahead as you file in, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will be getting into the Discord question of the day. I'm sure some people already know, but I have a massive channel announcement that I believe everybody is going to really enjoy, myself included. So this Discord question of the day this evening, it comes from Love and Other Habits. It's a rather simple question, but I don't think it's talked about that much. I think WSU Kim was one of the first that brought this out, and I'll go ahead and I'll read what Love and Other Habits submitted here. They said, considering the, quote, everyone knew what was going to happen theory, since no one reported noise and all were asleep by 9 p.m., how is it that Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee did not find out? And the reason why I brought up WSU Kim is back when that phone call first broke, WSU Kim had talked about how everybody knew there was going to be a shakedown. And then you listen to Officer House and Officer Gunderson and pretty much any other body cam of a police officer responding that day or the day after in the surrounding apartments and houses. Every single person was asleep. They didn't hear anything, and they have no idea what's going on. Although they all come to their door within a couple of seconds. They've all gotten the vandal alert. They've all heard rumors. We see it on every body cam that people clearly knew something happened. We see Detective Lanier, I can never say his name, on Officer Morris's body cam standing outside of 1112 or 1122, where a guy comes up and he says, I heard a rumor that people overdosed on fentanyl here. And he saw the tape and now he knows his friend is dead. We hear on Officer House's body cam in the Queen Road Apartments. The rumor I heard was cocaine. And we also heard somebody else say, I didn't hear any gunshots. So that's rather interesting that there does seem to be a collective effort to say, I didn't hear anything. There was no noise. I slept through it. And I just so happened to get home right before all of these events were starting to occur. Or if I did leave my house, I left right after the crucial time window. There is a lot of things that do make you scratch your head with that. What do you all think that is? Do you think that that's the cops in the university running cover that they haven't talked about publicly, perhaps? Do you think that it's a known thing in that area? You better shut up. Don't talk. I think that that's kind of an unwritten rule once you get to a certain age, right? Not saying that it's right or wrong, but if you have a inkling as to who might be behind this, maybe you don't want to open your mouth and say anything. Don't put yourself at risk. Let's see what people are saying. Yep, the Gurmilla, that's exactly right. He goes, my dad's a cop. And I think he said that he was there for work and his brother went to school there and he heard that it was cocaine, right? I agree. That was a great question. DKM says, I remember that was said a shakedown. Everything's redacted. Said, what do you mean was going to be a shakedown? If you have not heard WSU Kim, who her daughter had gone to school out at WSU, and she was talking about all of these rumors that were circulating. A lot of the stuff, came true before it was public, and some other stuff are kind of people are on the fence with. But that was one of the first things she said is that people heard that there was going to be a shakedown. What's up, Luna Rose? And also, I didn't say what's up to everybody, but I'll do so a little bit now. Cheryl, Les, Radine, Lovely Me, Salty Suds, Lisa Marie, Marsha, Kiss Me Where I Pee. TK11, CJ Stewart, Rachel, Polar Life Force, Andy Man, Grammy Tammy, good to see you. Crystal, Spiraling, Love and Other Habits, Amy Lou Who, Les Awake, Lovely Me, Gurmilla, they can't redact my beehole. Jeez, Hive, you guys have some wild usernames. Genuinely Confused, Social Glow, Jojo Boo Boo, what's up, what's up? UFO Dog, TK11, Think Twice, Sky Blue Eyes, Edie, Les, Lauren, formerly known as Beck, DKM, Everything's Redacted, Narrative Combatant, Laura, Shantae Nicole Cray Cray, that's another fun one to say, Cookie Puss, Ganja Girl, Sarah Kowalski. Finally, just a wholesome username, just first and last. You guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely awesome. Well, thank you, Love and Other Habits, for the Discord question of the day. And now, Hive, as some of you have probably noticed, I'm very excited to make this announcement. And what we are going to be launching here in the Hive is exciting. I think it's the best of both worlds. I think you all are going to appreciate it. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to spice up the chat. And so what we are launching as of right now, it is live. I'm calling Hive Plus. All of the streams are free. I've made a promise since I started this channel. I will never put a stream behind the paywall. And so my mods and I, we worked really hard on, and especially the mods worked really hard on trying to think about how is it that we can keep the Hive exactly what it is, keep the community exactly what it is, keep the streams free. And so we came up with Hive Plus. And so what Hive Plus is, oops, did all my slides disappear? Oh no, they're there. My bad. You guys are going to like this. And I'm super excited about it. So Hive Plus, here's what you're going to get. Okay. The streams are still free. There are going to be times for the people that sign up for this that when we would do subscriber only chats, there's just going to be a couple of segments, if maybe one segment or a Q&A segment, especially when we have guests on, that will flip that on. So it'll be the Hive Plus members have, 10, 15 minutes that they'll get the chat. The chat's obviously grown a lot. It's hard to see everybody who's in here. This will also help me be able to get people who are wanting their comment to be seen. Okay, so full access during the live streams, even when the chat's restricted. Hive Plus Live, once a month. This is the only stream that I'm going to do that's not free, but it's going to be just for the Hive Plus members. And that will be most likely on a weekend. I'm thinking Sunday nights before the week starts. And stay tuned for those because I have some epic and fun stuff lined up for those streams. And then I have high priority, right? Your comments are going to be seen first. It does put you and your replies at the front. Same thing with the shout outs. And then we're going to be launching, we're going to be doing some more merch where you guys are going to get exclusive merch, limited drops, discounts. And so it is only $4.99 a month. With that being said, though, it's going to make the chat way more fun because what we have, you'll have loyalty badges for how long you've been a part of the Hive. These are going to pop up right by your name when you're in the chat. And as you are a part of this longer, right? Day 1, month 2, month 6, year 1, they continue to change colors. And so we can get absolutely wild and crazy with those. And this is what I'm most excited about. Shout out to Luna Bliss and my mods. They now have, and you will have access to hilarious emojis. My personal favorite being the God damn it, Jeff emoji. We have the clown emojis, as well as, there's a handful more than this. So just so you guys know, it's $4.99. I chose that because I feel like it's a reasonable price in general, but also the streams are still free. So the only thing that's changing for people that aren't going to do that is just you're going to miss one private live and you won't get the emojis and the loyalty badges. So I chose to do a hybrid. There's been a lot of people who have been here from the beginning that want to support and they want to contribute more. And so to all of you, thank you. I feel so excited about this because I feel like it's the best of both worlds. And it's really awesome to see what the Hive has turned into. So thank you to everybody that supported this channel and that does become a member. I think it's going to be absolutely epic. And I'm excited to see all the emojis as well as, the loyalty badges as we progress. So all you got to do is tap join, $4.99 a month. Thank you to everybody that does sign up. For the people who are watching this, and this will only be effective for the live stream, for the people that are watching this, if you sign up tonight or within 24 hours, so until tomorrow night's stream, I'm going to pick 3 people that sign up for a membership that will be winning. It'll be a giveaway. Okay, so for 3 people that sign up in the next 24 hours from 7 p.m. on the 30th to 7 p.m. on the 31st tomorrow. So you guys get the GOAT Award. Thank you all so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, somebody said, I want to see the Jeff H emoji. There it is right there. That's awesome. And yes, it's $4.99. Now, I see people keep saying $6.99. It's $4.99. So moving on now. Very excited to have said that. Now let's have an awesome stream, Hive. All right. One's in the chat. If you guys are fired up for tonight, because I know I certainly am. There's a lot of momentum in this case. We have a huge week this week. We have Jeffrey Gentry that's coming onto the stream. I have been saying Wednesday on accident. That's on me. I've said it twice. Jeffrey will be on Thursday, April 2nd at 7 p.m. Central. Jeffrey is the crime scene investigator, the forensic expert who's got 22 years of experience, over 4,000 deaths investigated, and will be coming on to talk about the Idaho 4 crime scene now that he's had a week to look into it. We chatted on the phone for about an hour this weekend, and he's looking into some really interesting stuff. He's wanting to know exactly where the blood is, what the document that correlates it to. And I think we're in for another great stream with Jeffrey. So stay tuned. Thursday night, April 2nd at 7 p.m. Central. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to show this video because if you remember, Senior Wazowski was talking about the Ring camera or the light bulb camera on 1112 and how he believes that the two-way intercom was activated. He followed up and made another video, and he says, if they could do it, I could do better. I'm starting with this because we're going to be watching some of the 1112 tonight around Eric Gower and what Mark B has told me. Okay, so I wanted to start with this just to remind everybody what the theory is as far as noises, because oddly enough, the time frame of the 1112 light bulb cam that I'm going to show you with Eric Gower, that's muted. So I figured this would be timely to show this as well. So let me get this shared. Full screen. Jesus. So just so everybody remembers, Senor Wazowski went out and he bought the exact same light bulb camera, and he's using the exact same operating system that we see on 1112. Okay. That's the house that's right to the left. If you walk out of the bottom front door of King Roadhouse where the Idaho 4 happened, it's that house that's really close. It's got the light bulb camera. It's the camera that caught Brian Koberger's car on video. He's saying we just cracked the foundation, and I don't want to spoil the video, but you guys are hearing dogs bark. Okay. You're hearing dogs bark, and I'm just going to let this play, and then I'll explain it if anybody does miss the point of this. Has anybody picked up on what he's doing right now? Is there anybody that has figured out what Senor Wazowski is able to do. And Randy Wise, you're asking the right question. So he is absolutely using his two-way intercom. He's activated it as if he's trying to talk to somebody that's at his front door when he's not home. But instead of talking into the two-way intercom, he is holding up a speaker of the 1112 King Road audio. And it's the exact same audio that we hear that makes no sense. So he's able to do that on his camera extremely, extremely simply. So now you're going to hear the thuds, okay? So check this out now. I'm kind of fast forwarding through it because he's proven his point. He said, I made this on the opposite coast without a university backing me. And so, yes, to lay it out for everybody, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he plays, 5 minutes of it. What Senor Wazowski did for actually, let me ask you all in the chat. Type a 1 in the chat if you are following. Type a 2 if you are not. Okay, because there's a lot of people that I think aren't wrapping their head around this. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be an a-hole here. I don't know why it's so confusing. It could be on me. I could be sucking at explaining this. And I would be curious. I did cover this, but Senor Wazowski actually did this. He actually now took the 1112 audio and he played it through his own camera, and it sounds the exact same. That's the whole point. So, yes. So my point is this. Anybody that has a Ring camera, when somebody shows up to your door, so the video doorbell, okay, if you have a video doorbell or if you have a security system on your phone, you can watch it. It also, almost all of those devices allow you to activate a speaker that if somebody is standing outside your house and you're not home, you can talk with them. When you then go back and listen to that recording, your voice and the person outside your house's voice will play on the recording at the same volume. So if you were to not have somebody at your house and you were to activate your intercom two-way, talk feature and play noise and then watch the recording, it would sound like all of that noise is happening outside, even though you were holding it right up to your phone. And I just wanted to show that last video from Senor Wazowski because I feel like he kind of put a cherry on top that it absolutely is possible. It's absolutely possible. All the Linda Lane audio syncs up perfectly with the 1112. So I'm not saying they for sure did it, but they could have. And they could have very easily. Extremely, extremely easily. And it's even said by, what is that officer's name? Why am I drawing a blank on the dude's name? Not Gunderson. Mowry. And Detective Mowry even says that they had to get a bunch of small clips and stitch them together. And I read the report last week, so go watch Friday or Thursday's stream and watch that. But it absolutely is possible for them to have manipulated or input kind of substituted different audio onto 1112, and it would sound as if it was happening outside. But there's little tells. And that's why Senor Wazowski went out. He bought that camera, got the same operating system, and he did tests at home. And I do believe that he knocked it out of the park with this one. So go to Ward for Senor Wazowski. Now, before I get into what I'm about to say next, okay, how many people in here know how many times Eric Gower drove by 1122 King Road? All right. So my conversation with Mark B, who does a lot of technical deep dives onto the camera and onto the audio, what he believes the cars are, which cars are the same, which cars are different, based on headlights, taillights, license plates, sounds as they drive, okay? So, but what are we told in the narrative? We're told in the narrative that Eric Gower drops him off, okay? There's an interview that I'm going to talk about right now with Eric Gower. So he's got two different stories, and this is what Mark B and I were talking about. There's two different stories. One of the stories, so the interview on the 14th, Eric Gower says that he pulls in by the White's apartment. Okay. It would have been right around when the plainclothes police officers, the Banfield stop, where they would have been parked. And then there's another story where he says he just pulled up by the bushes, right by the Whites in the front. So one story says he pulls in, the other one he says he pulled by the bushes. Little details, but as we know, those little details matter a lot in the Idaho 4 case. Now, why did Mark bring that up to me? Well, Mark has this down to such a science looking at 1112 that he knows that when they go out of the screen here, if you were to look at the upper right corner, actually, I'll put it full screen. If you were to look, Mark has it down to where when they leave here and you can no longer see them, by the time they show up on the Linda Lane dumpster cam, passing it, it's like 20 to 30 seconds, 28 seconds, give or take. He had them down pat. I'm going to give an estimate. On the time that Eric Gower said that he was pulling into the Whites, it took him like a minute and 28 seconds. It's the only time. And that's the only time that he changes his story, which is interesting. So I told Mark right away, I'm like, oh, I wonder, does he know the cops? Did he pull up? Did he say what's up to him? Because the Whites, in my opinion, those apartments, they seem like it's like a base. It's like a base of the night. People are all surrounding that place. Steve G talks about how the cops were literally filming. They were filming while this was going on. And they were standing outside the Whites during the Banfield stop. So Mark says Eric Gower at 137 and at 144, this is Eric Gower as well on 1112. So I will go ahead and pull this up. As a reminder in this audio, okay, because this time frame on 1112, they didn't fix the audio. It was muted. I pulled up Outcast's version that has the Linda Lane audio. So we'll actually be able to hear it. So don't even worry about the box down here on the bottom. Just watch the top part and know that the audio is being supplemented by the Linda Lane car park. Okay. So here we go. I think I have it set right. All right, here we go. All right, so right around 1:37, about a minute from now. But I want you guys to watch what's going on across the street, too. Okay, so right about now, that guy just went inside. There's Gower. That damn diesel truck. We need to look into that. You see people. So then he leaves. Now I can't remember if Mark said the guy walks out now. So I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm going to go ahead to 144 or right before it. And let me do this actually on YouTube. Okay, so wherever he took them to, that is a very quick drop off, obviously, right? Now, here's where I'm going to speculate, and one of the reasons why I wanted to show this. Did anybody pick up on the guy that just walked up the stairs? Okay. Even with Outcast having this box over here, we know that the door is right underneath this bulb, right? You guys follow me? We know that that door is right there. So I'll pull it up. And I don't know how many people have picked up on this before. Okay. So, I mean, you guys can see it here. That light is right here. Okay. So it's right by the door. And the handle is on the right side as well. I want to go back and I want you guys to watch where you see his shadow. And then I want you to tell me what Eric Gower does. And why would that dude need to go? And it's just the timing of it. And I'll explain this, but I want you to watch it before I do quick. Okay. So this guy shows up, right? He walks in. And remember now, this is right before the girls are about to start getting home. It's about 15 minutes or 12 minutes from now. Okay. Now watch what he does. Watch his shadow. Right as the car turns around, look at what he does. He sees it. He looks back. And now he walks to that side of the balcony. And does he put his hand up and tell him to stop? And does he now back up? Okay. So I find that to be a little bit strange. Okay. So watch his head when he comes up here. He's going to notice the car coming and he turns his head, but he walks to the far side and it's almost like, does he notice the car coming? So he turns and then he's about to go in and he walks. And does he go like this? Like, and it's like immediately it's in sync. He goes, he turns, you can see the shadow. He's looking at the car that's turning. We can't tell. He puts his hand up, but the car stops and immediately backs up. And I don't know if I've ever heard anybody point that out before, but that caught my eye this weekend. Okay, watch. Sees him, walks to the other side of the balcony, and immediately, yes. And I find it very odd. I find it very odd that he then goes and picks up the girls. Does anybody else think that that's weird? Or I understand that this case can make you look into shit that doesn't matter, but I feel like, hang on, so the Uber driver's been driving around. He's been there multiple times. He drops them off. Everybody gets murdered. And then in the last time that he was pulling up towards their house, there's a dude with a hood and a backpack on that walks to the other side, and it clearly looks like he gestures him to stop and back up. So I will watch that, or let's watch that one more time, and I want to see him actually walk into the frame. Does anybody know where this dude comes in from? I went back too far. Does he come out from under the porch? I gotta find. We might have to watch the one that doesn't have audio, guys. Does he come out from underneath the porch? Is that even possible? Hold on. So there's no audio on the one that Jules got. So let's watch this though, because it's not gonna. Would that even be possible to come out for he? You can walk under. Okay. So let's see. And actually, I'm just gonna refresh everybody's memory. So yeah, so he okay. So he must be walking close and he walks underneath here like that. I was thinking when I said like out from under the porch, I was saying like, is there a door here? I feel like I would have remembered that. He can clearly walk through underneath the belt or underneath the porch. So he comes from underneath. Now it would be interesting. Does he come this way and go under, or does he go this way? But I'm wondering now, without that Linda Lane car park, if we can see the shadows more of. People are saying it's Ethan or Ethan. Okay, so he walks through. Yo, okay, this is trippy. Let's try to catch some frames that aren't redacted. Does he have gloves on? Or is his hand just in his. Yeah, they definitely look like they scrubbed a second person, too. That low key looks like those damn lacrosse gloves we were looking at, too. Wow. Where would the second person have been scrubbed from? Was he waiting right there for somebody to catch up? Okay, so hear me out. If they're walking, is he just a little bit ahead of somebody? Is that why he stops and he looks back and they blur it completely? Because it does. I could see why they would say I could see why people are saying it looks like there's two people. It definitely looks like. Let me move the hive mind thing. So right there. There's shadows right here. Watch this car when the light switches. Right there. You see that? Watch this bottom bumper. Right there. And it's unless it's a shadow from him walking up. On the house, too, on the left. Yeah. But it kind of looks like it was just him again. It doesn't that look like the outfit that he's wearing right here? Doesn't it look like when it glitches, it's his outfit? Doesn't that kind of look like him? Kind of looks like exactly what they were wearing. So then he sees the car coming. Walks over there. Now let's try to see if his hand goes up in the shadows. That's so crazy. He would be right on the line of the road to where somebody with their headlights would probably be hitting them right when they turn that corner. Tells them to back up or stop. Somebody said you can see the shadow on the house to the left when he puts his arm up. Talking over here. Here, I'll move myself out of the way. Okay, so now he's going to walk. I still think that looks like a... Wait, is he wearing boots? Is that a girl? Are those like baggy kind of half heel, half boot things? But then it looks like a dude at the same time. Yeah, beyond reasonable doubt. Thank you so much for the super chat. That's what I was just saying. And thank you, Leela, for the super chat as well. And thank you, beyond reasonable doubt, for saying press join for Hive Plus. I mean, does his other hand have a glove on it? Is that a glove here or no? Edie says it's the Banfield boy. WSU mom, what's going on? We were just talking about the call earlier that you put out right in the beginning. I don't think there's a glove on that hand. Now, okay, let's watch the left side house right over here to see if we can see his hand go up to. I do believe it's a dude as well, but let's see now. This is Eric Gower pulling in, according to Mark B. So let's see if we can see his hand go up. It's right on cue, though. Either way, even if we don't see the shadow, I feel like that's still wild. So let me speed this up back to normal speed. Let's see what happens next. So he backs out. This is so Mark B, again, I'm just saying Mark B is somebody who really looks a lot into video footage. I know that Lana works with him and Pav has talked with him. I was talking to him on the phone this weekend. He knows all of these cameras like the back of his hand, probably better than the back of his hand. And he said that this is one of the sketchiest things on 1112. Is this exactly what we just saw? Now, is he still standing over there? Yes. Now he comes back, and then look at what happens. Dude drives off, and he goes inside. Are you kidding me? He doesn't even pick anybody up. Dude, that is sus as hell. That is crazy. And then now Eric goes and picks up Kaylee and Maddie. How wild is that? For whatever reason, and people could know that, but that was the first time where I'm realizing, okay, so the guy comes out, he walks under the porch, walks up, Eric Gower's pulling in, clearly gestures. The dude doesn't end up picking anybody up. He stays on the side of the balcony, and then when Eric leaves, he just decides to go right inside. Type of one if that's the first time that you've seen that or put it together that way. I'll play it again. I'll play it at full speed. Talk about signaling. That seems like a damn signal. That's the definition of a signal. He's coming from the direction of 1122 prior, within 20 minutes of the girls getting home, 12 minutes, 15 minutes of the girls getting home. Could be more than one person. Potentially looks like it's scrubbed. Can't put anything past these knuckleheads in Idaho. And maybe a glove on his right hand. Could be two people. I think it's a male. He looks. He sees Eric Gower approaching. Goes to the other side of the balcony. Clearly does something. The guy stops right away. Puts it in reverse. Does he pull his phone? Dude, what if they muted it? Did he call him? Did he call him? Is that why they had to mute this and they won't give the audio? Did he call him? And is that why? Like, I wish we could zoom in. Is he on his phone back here? Or is he texting him right now? And then either they have a quick conversation or it takes a little bit for them to text each other back. And then he leaves. So what, from a timeline standpoint, all right, let's stretch our tinfoil hat muscles here. There's a lot of people that say, you know, the 2 a.m. is a dark hour. Maybe something happened earlier. Obviously, potentially two different timelines for when Ethan and Xana were murdered compared to Kaylee and Maddie. Does that look way more sus if you're under the impression that what Xana's father said, meaning, and Xana's mother said, that Xana wasn't feeling good and was at home or eating pizza? Nobody knows where Ethan and Xana are the whole night. Because if they were to say they were attacked earlier, it would ruin the entire lone wolf narrative, the lone wolf actor, in and out, no connection. Brian Koberger turns into Jason Bourne as far as a mainstream narrative standpoint. But that's very odd. And you hear a lot of stuff. Like if we go to, okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up this time frame on Linda Lane, and let's listen to a few minutes before that. Now, I mean, we know that there's going to be sketchy stuff, but now, and thank you so much, Renee Mankampf. Got to be careful without adding a different pronunciation to that, but thank you, Renee Mankampf. Just got jokes. Birdie, you and the Hive are amazing. I love the way your mind works. Don't ever stop questioning everything. We won't. And thank you so much for the super chat, Renee. You are a goat. Appreciate that. And now, so that was at one. I mean, so if that's at 144, I mean, how far back do you guys think? 10 minutes? Right around. You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision here. I'm going to go to ViewSync, and now that we know that that's Eric Gower right before he goes and picks up Kaylee and Maddie. Okay. I'm going to throw that into ViewSync, and let's watch it with Jeff H's audio, which again, God damn it, Jeff. Jokes aside, Jeff H has one of the best audio of Linda Lane with the way that he did it with the whatever the things are, that the multi-band compression thing. So let's start it at 130. Let's start at 125 approximately. Okay. Just give me a second here, Hive. I'll try to be quick with this. And then let's go to 125. And let's watch this 10 minutes. Let's see this 10 minutes. Now that we know Eric Gower goes and he picks up, he's picking somebody up initially at 133. And then at 144, that's when the dude comes out from underneath the deck. Type of one if you guys are following me on what we're looking for now. Because that signal, that's very strange. Okay, I'm just testing the audio on this quick. All right, give me a second. It's finalizing. Oh, fuck. All right, so we got 133. It's within 5 seconds. All right, here we go. And Mark B is in the chat. So, guys, if you're in the chat, keep an eye out for this username right here. This is Mark B. Like I was saying, we spoke this weekend, and this is crazy, Mark, especially now knowing it totally looks like that dude came out from underneath the porch, signaled to Gower, didn't pick anybody up. It's all weird. So now we're watching with the audio to see if we hear anything on Linda Lane after the first time that he left, picking people up, to when he shortly re-arrives about 10 minutes later, 9 minutes later, doesn't pick anybody up, and then goes to pick up Maddie and Kaylee at the grub truck. Mark gets to go to work. So that's Gower there. Now, I know Mark B is in here. If you've ever heard a Prius or an electric car, I swear I just heard an electric car, like kind of like that low humming. And I don't know if Mark's looked into that or if anybody else just heard that, but I could have swore I just heard like a low humming. Now, I'm not going to go back because the time is actually almost perfectly synced now. Somehow they catch up to each other. So we have 1:41 and 19 seconds in the morning on the left-hand side. We have 1:41 and 20 seconds in the morning on the right-hand side. But it does sound like almost like an electric vehicle noise. So weird. So again, just to bring people up to speed, Eric Gower comes. There's a lot of people that come out of the Shark Tank house, which is the house directly across the street, right? We see people go to Eric Gower's Prius. He leaves. He comes back shortly after around 1:44. There's a gentleman, potentially two people, one may have been scrubbed, that comes out from underneath the porch. He goes to the end of that porch to the right side of 1112. As soon as Eric Gower turns, gestures at him, does something to signal him. Gower immediately reverses, backs up, doesn't pick anybody, and then goes to pick up the girls. Very strange. And thank you to Blue Eyed Candy for gifting 5 memberships. That's awesome. That is absolutely epic. Thank you guys so much. Now, in my opinion, that car looks like it was hauling ass in there. It really does. It really does. And they're about to the girls are about to be dropped off. That car, this is all hitting kind of differently now after seeing that totally was a signal. And I've never noticed that before. So shout out Mark B for that. Here comes Gower. So that's all the audio that we got on that. But dude, wow. That hits totally different. It's always been creepy and hard to hear the screams and people to just brush that off. It's been confusing. It feels like gaslighting on a giant level. They don't seem like party noises, and they're very specific. It's when there's cars or there's people outside that should have heard this. They're apparently watching Vampire Diaries. They're apparently doing all this, but that signal that Mark B pointed out of the dude walking up on 1112 to Eric Gower, clearly gesturing, backing up, hearing stuff the entire time he's going to go pick up Kaylee and Maddie. Kaylee and Maddie get home. You hear more stuff, and then People start leaving, getting in their cars, and starting. That is crazy to me. And I'm going to read this statement from the private driver, Eric Gower, from the docs. And so let me put that down. All right. On November 14th, 2022 at 17:10 hours, I contacted Eric Gower in the front of the lobby of the police department. Gower had contacted Moscow Police Department earlier in the day, and he stated he's a local Uber driver, and he gave Kaylee and Maddie a ride home on November 13th of 2022 from the downtown area. Gower had been in the Spokane Coeur d'Alene area when he contacted us and stated he would not be back until 1700 hours. I asked Gower how he knew Kaylee and Maddie. Gower stated he drives for Uber and Lyft, and Kaylee and Maddie have become some of his regular customers, and this is how he met them. Gower stated he was contacted by Kaylee on November 12th, okay, around, what would that be, 10:02, and asked if he could pick her and some friends up at 1122 King Road and take them to the Corner Club. Gower arrived at the address at 2015 hours and picked up Kaylee and Maddie and one other female. Gower stated at 0145 hours on the 13th, he was contacted by Kaylee again and asked if he could pick her and some friends up at the grub truck. Guys, what are the chances that almost down to the second, when that guy walks onto 1112, or 8:15. Sorry, not 10:15, 8:15. But to not lose that train of thought, almost down to the second, when Kaylee is texting Eric Gower to come and pick them up, that guy is gesturing at him to stop coming up the road, and he backs up and leaves. How weird is that? So that time frame that he did that at would have been at, dude, that's 1:44. So you're saying at 1:44:10, this guy's here, Eric Gower's pulling around. And in the doc, so he says, stop. 1:44 and 30 seconds. And in his statement, Kaylee texted him at 1:45. What are the chances of that? That's crazy. So at 1:45, he was contacted by Kaylee again and asked if he could pick her up and some friends up at the grub truck. Gower arrived at the grub truck at around 1:49. Gower took Kaylee and Maddie home. He stated it was a 3 to 4 minute drive from the grub truck to 1122 King Road. Gower told me he has been driving for Uber and Lyft since 2019. Gower told me Kaylee has been a regular for at least the last year. Gower stated he was working, but Kaylee did not contact him through the Uber or Lyft app, but instead texted him directly both times. Gower stated when he got to the grub truck, he parked in front of the grub truck on Main Street facing south. Gower texted Kaylee he was there, and she stated they would be there in a second, and said they were at order 75 and theirs was 78. Kaylee and Maddie came to the vehicle a short time later. Kaylee was in the front passenger seat, and Maddie was in the rear seat. Maddie was eating the food from the grub truck with her hands. They all had a casual conversation. Gower stated they appeared to be fine, and nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary. Gower stated he still had the texts on his phone, and he sent screenshots to me. I burned those screenshots to a DVD and booked it into property at a later time, along with other documents I had related to this case. Gower was not able to give me more information at that time. I certified. Okay. So I have Eric Gower's interview pulled up here. That's where we're going to continue tomorrow evening, Hive. Okay. So thank you, everybody who did tune in. And as a reminder, don't forget tonight, we launched in the Hive here. We now have Hive Plus. All the streams are going to stay free. You're going to get in the streams moving forward, there'll be a couple of times where it's just going to be Hive Plus members that can have the chat, and they will have access even when it's restricted. There's going to be one live a month. That's going to be awesome for Hive Plus members. Comments to the front of the screen, shout outs, merch discounts, but really they're going to get loyalty badges, and they got some awesome emojis as well. So thank you so much for everybody that has signed up. Guys, I really appreciate that. I love to do this. I love seeing everybody in here every night at 7 p.m. Central. You guys have pushed me to want to make this the best stream possible. And by having these memberships, right, I'm calling it memberships, but they're really Hive Plus. It's just going to make the chat better. Nothing's going behind a paywall. The community of the Hive is still going to stay super strong just for those people that want to, support the channel, or if they just want to have some fun with the emojis and loyalty badges. And I appreciate that greatly. So with that, Hive, tap join if you want to join Hive Plus. Hit like. Let's please get some likes up there. We're only at 692. Hit subscribe. And this whole week's going to be awesome. Jeffrey Gentry, Thursday night, 7 p.m. on April 2nd. Tomorrow night, we're going to watch Eric Gower's interview. And I will see you then. Cheers, everybody.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.